working and it's recording, so we're gonna start with some managing views. So I will just open the file we were working on last time, just to have something out there. And so this is it. So first thing, the Manage tab up here. If you want to do some general stuff about your project and putting some information, that's where you would go. Under Manage, you can find the list of materials. So you can define the materials in your projects for some data information and also for visualization. Object styles, snaps, you know from the names what they are. You can go under them and change the details over there. I'm not going to go to a lot of details. Project information is where you put in the name of the people included and the information on the project. It will show up on your sheets. So if it's a real project, you want to make sure you edit it there. And then more information here that's including project units. If there are groups and other stuff in your project, you want to purge them, you can access it through here. Some structural information. Also, if you put in any links, you would be able to access them through here, which we will see in one of the examples I'm going to show you guys today. And then one of the interesting parts is the location that we talked about last time a little bit. So I think Colin was asking about how you can set a location. So that's where you would access it. So you can open this tab by location and say the default is Boston. I would say Alberta. See what it finds. There's an Alberta AB, assuming that's us, and then you can roughly go and find Calgary. There should be better ways for doing that, but that's what I'm doing for now. So let's say this building is right in the middle of the right in the middle of the boss loop here. And now the location is set. So all the information on the project will be for that specific location you have put this in. Okay, so that's the Manage tab. So basically, front end information of the project and the management stuff you can access through here. Then we're going to go back to the views. So last time we talked about how to make 3D views, sections, plan views, elevations, and that kind of thing. You can also do some editing in terms of line weights and visibility and that kind of stuff. I will just show you a few of them that are more important, but if anytime you had a question how to make line thicknesses or weights or forms differently, that's where you can access them. Usually in Revit it has a good default that you can go forward with. So I wouldn't worry too much about line weights and that kind of thing. But whenever you are in a view, you will, and nothing is selected, under the properties menu or window, you will see a bunch of information that is related to that 3D view or plan view if it's a plan view. So if you have a template, you can select that template here and just apply it to this. So all the information will follow, all the properties will follow that template. But if you don't have that and you want to edit stuff, those are the things you'll see here. So first of all, scale. You can change the scale in your view. It will make more sense when we talk about sheets. But you just know that you can change your scales here under view as one of the ways to access scale. Level of details we talked about last time. That's the same thing we have down here. Some more stuff. So these are some more interesting things. I'll come back to them. But before that, you have some paths. You can turn it on and off. We'll talk about this too. You have crop views, and you have a section box option. These are all things that you can access there. So let me show you what does a section box do for you. So that's a section box in a 3D view. So basically, by just moving these guys, you can cut a section through your geometry if you don't move your wall. You can cut a section through your building and see that in 3D, which is a pretty cool feature. So section box is very good for presentation, but also while you're designing something, you want to explore your form and make sure things are in place. That's the tool to use. So once again, when nothing is selected under the properties menu, you go down, you find a section box, you check it, it will show up in here, you will select it, and it will give you arrows on each of the sides to change that. So as soon as the arrow is the darker blue, you are changing this. It's a bit tricky because you may be selecting other stuff. So by making sure that this thing is being highlighted, or by clicking tab and making sure that you are making the right selection, you can do that. Actually, tab is not working, so don't worry about that. The other thing is the crop view and crop region that we talked about last time. So it's the same bottoms that you have down here. If it's on, you will see it. If it's off, you won't. And if it's, it will show whatever is in this region for your view. That will make a lot more sense when you put stuff on your sheets. But you can also turn it off, so say I don't care about cropping a region, so you will see everything in a view while you're working on it. So for now, I'm just gonna bring it back to where it was. Just have it there. I'm gonna turn both of these off. And then there are some render settings. We'll talk about that when we talk about visualization. And that's pretty much it. So back to the more complicated stuff. So the first one is the visibility and graphics. So if you click on that, it will give you a list of the things that are visible and how they are presented graphically in your drawings. So you won't spend a lot of times changing these information. Maybe you do if you need to. But the main thing is that it will show you if, let's say, the doors are on or off in this view. So I've got a door, a thing down here. If I just turn them off, the door is gone, but the hole is there. So no doors are showing up, but the hole is there. I'll just go back and turn on my doors and apply it, and you see the door is back there. One thing that is a weird thing in Revit, and it's a default, is that masses are usually off. It's not actually weird. The reason is you usually do masses when you are at a design stage, and in a real view you don't want to see the masses. You have used the mass for a reason, but you don't want to see the actual mass. But if you were doing some massing, or you were inserting a mass and it's not showing up, first thing is that probably your mass is turned off in your view. So you go to visibility graphics, you'll turn it on, you would apply, and it will show up. So that's that. So in visibility graphic, anything you wanted to hide as a category or anything was missing, you look for it there first. Second tab is the graphics, the graphic display options, and that is pretty interesting in terms of very basic visualization without doing renderings. So it will give you some options to change or improve how you see things in your view. So when you edit, first of all, you choose your style, if it's a hidden line or shaded or realistic. For this, I'm gonna keep it at hidden line. Then the other one is smooth lines. So as you can see, some of these lines are a bit jagged and they're like caddy lines. If you want to make them smooth and more like raster lines, you will just click that, so you will see cleaner lines. And then you can also apply transparency to them if you want to. So that's the model display. Then in the shadows, you have the cast shadows that you can turn on and off. You also have an ambient shadow, kind of like the ambient occlusion that you guys use in renderings, and that would make your view improve the visuals of your view. So those are the shadows you can turn on. Sketchy lines, similar to programs like SketchUp and other things, you can also do sketchy lines in Revit. I don't know how appropriate it would be or not, but you have the option if you needed to do it. I'll just turn it off for now. Depth queuing. You can't do it in this 3D view because it's actually not a perspective and it's an ortho, so the depth is not really defined where I'm standing. But if you are in elevation, it makes a lot of sense. You can make the background to fade out and the foreground to be more obvious. Let's say you have a building that has multiple parts to it. You don't want the background to be confused with the front of the building, so you use this depth queue and you will see the fronts more clearly. I'll show that in the elevation view to you how it works. Lighting, You can change how your sun and shadows are working in your view, so shadow darker or lighter. But also you can select the place of your sun, and that's pretty interesting. So because we have already picked a location, um, we can just check that and check the location and see if it's still there. Yes, it's in the boss loop that we picked, probably. So the location is there, and then you can say through the day what time and what date I want to get the shadow for that exact moment, and that would be it for actually today and right now. So let's get a better time, maybe at 2 it will be there, or maybe get a better time of the year. So go to maybe, I don't know, go to May 15th, and that's the shadow you'll get, 2 p.m. May 15th. But more interestingly than that, you can do shadow studies here very easily. There are some defaults for you set here that you can pick from. So if you go from still, you go to single day, it will give you some presets. If you go to multi-day, it will give you some presets. So if you wanted to see the extremes or some stuff that you may want to do in a official shadow study, you can find them here. But if you want to do something customized to your own case, you can change numbers over there. I'm going to show you one example of the shadow study. So under multi-day, if I pick 1 year solar study and I apply, you'll see nothing much has changed. I had the control to take what time to what time, so it's going for first day of 2010 to last day of 2010, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. I could say sunrise to sunset or something like that, and I would apply. Nothing has changed here, but it is giving me a weird shadow that is probably the beginning of that time. So down here, if I got my previous solar study on, so under the sun path, I have my previous solar study on, then a few buttons will show up there. So that is where I can play my shadow study, and that would be it. So that will show how the shadow is changing through that multi-day. It's not doing, and you could also do like a summer day test and see what that means in your project. And then you can also go frame by frame and test all of those and make exports and do that. So
How did you bring up the
so down here you got a sun path tool. If you click on that, you can have your previous solar study. If you have this on or off, that will show up. Okay, questions so far? You guys are good?
showing a different thing on my
I'll come take a look after this part. Let me go back to the graphics. I'll finish this part and then I'll come see your computer. All right. So we were at lighting. So you can, if it's a single moment, you can define whether it's actually based on a location or you want to just randomly place it somewhere. You could also pick a sun study format for it, and then some other stuff like photographic exposure and background you can also control through this graphic display option. So in the background, let's say I want to have an image or I want to have a gradient, and this is that gradient I want to show at the back. That's where you would pick it. So that's that.